Hello, everyone. I bet many of you have been struggling in discovering, deploying, and running machine learning models. For many of us, we have found something cool on GitHub, but we have no success in running it, especially with some messy documentations. It's not about how to propose a new, a fancy, a more powerful models, but more like managing existing models. In the project AID, we try to manage machine learning models in a more systematic way, such that we could discover, run, and perform inference in a more unified and more friendly way. In this video, I will show how we approach this problem, how we try to manage and install and run machine learning models in our own way. First, once you have installed the AID project, you can simply run AID app to start a web server where we will show on which network you can access our web page. In the web page, you can interact with the AID project in a simplified and friendly way. For example, I'm on this network, so I can access it by typing the address in the home page. And then if you want to find some machine learning algorithms, for example, I want to find the optical character recognition. So I will type in OCR and type enter. And then the website will navigate us into the model hub, where we list all the existing and runnable machine learning models. So here we find a machine learning model proposed by AID models, and then we can click details. Then we will see there is a CI status that's basically saying the testing has been passed, and we can see some README and the commit history, the attachment, and if there is a suggestion for a GPU. If we want to install it, we can basically click the install locally button here, which will tell us how to install the models in our system. We can install it by our command line, but in the newer version, we can also install it through our web page. I will click install button and type in the address of the model, and then we can click the confirm button, and the system will tell us that it is installing the models and it's trying to load some logs. The log is from the building process, so it may take several minutes before the logs appear. And now we see all the logs here, and we see that everything is successful. And we see that we have already tagged a model here. And then the cool thing is that you can navigate back to your terminal and you can still see the full logs here. You see that we have downloaded a pre-trained model and we have built a Docker image for this server, and we don't have GPU for this model. And then once it is built, we can run AID list images, and we will see the image there with a unique ID to it. And then we need to create a container for this model, which basically lets this model runnable on a certain port so that others could access this model from the network. So right now, let's assign to the 8081. And we will see that we have successfully created a container, and we have a reference for this created container, and we have GPU disabled. And then we can basically run AID start to start this container so that it is in a proper status that everyone can access it. So let's start it. There's no error, so everything should be okay, but we can refresh our website and we will see there is an OCR server right over there. We can click into it and we will see more details in this model. And we can even download the pre-trained model into anywhere we want. We can view the timeline and we can perform inference. And Once we click the inference, we will be navigated into a new web page where we will have to fill in a request form. There are two options. We can either upload a text or a file, which will be indicated by the solver itself. For OCR models, we need to upload a file, basically an image. So let's click upload a file. We have a receipt here. Let's have a look of it, and we can upload it and click send. By sending this form, your data will be uploaded to the solver, but the solver is located on your own server. So your data will never be uploaded to the third parties. So you have full control of your data. We can click send, and it will take several seconds before we have a result. So here's the result. Basically, we have some data, we have a string that we have recognized, we have the location of the string, and we have a confidence of the string, of the characters that we have recognized. This is how the results is constructed. And besides of this, we can click next to it, and we can see a simple analysis here. We see that our request started at a certain date and time, and the response returned at a certain date, and we see that we have overall processing time for roughly 7 seconds. So based on this, we can try to optimize our system, like we can reduce the network latency, or we can improve our CPU or GPU on our remote server. And there will be more analysis, but right now we have a very simple analysis right now. And then we can click close. The cool part about this inference is that you can do it with any models, with any solvers. You don't have to struggling like how to organize your request. Basically, you have to upload a text or a file. This is all your options. This works for all other models. For example, we can search for all the models that we have in the system. Let's see, view all models. For example, if we want, let's see, speech analysis, which I know is already there, we can click install here and copy the address. And let's try to install this model. So we click install and we wait for a few seconds. In this time, we can also look into our system and we can still see the logs in the terminal about downloading the pre-trained models, about building the images, about everything that is happening on our server. The pre-trained model is pretty large, so it may take several minutes to finish. Okay, after we downloaded the pre-trained model and the source code of the model, and then we will try to build the model in a Docker format. And now it seems everything is okay. And we see the logs there as well. And we can also run the AID list images as well. And we see a new speech solver right there. We can create a container in the same manner by copying the unique ID of this model as well. And we assign a new port to it. And we see everything okay, and we can start it by copying the reference ID here. And it seems everything is working properly, and we refresh the page again. And we see a new solver right there. And we see some usage, we see some documentation, we see the attachment, and we have a timeline for this. This is almost everything that we have, and we can perform inference as well. This also requires a file, so we try to upload a file, but an audio file. We have a file already there, so let's send it. It's basically a speech that I downloaded from the internet, and you need to read the documentation of the model and see what kind of request form is it expected. So we see that the solver successfully recognized the sentence that we have in the model, in a wave file, in the audio, and we have a sentiment analysis, we have a polarity and a subjectivity analysis of this text. And we click the next button, and we have the analysis of this process. And then we can close the request. So this is all we have in the system right now. We can basically search for models in our model hub. We have listed several example models right there, and we can install it with our terminal or with our website. We can install repositories. We can perform inference on top of the installed models in a unified approach.